Johnny Depp's multi-million-dollar defamation suit against Amber Heard is finally over, but only if the Aquaman actress can pay a hefty bond. A final judgment in the explicit and high-profile civil trial that ended on June 1st was presented and entered into the docket in a brief and sometimes tense hearing in Judge Penney Ascrit's Fairfax, Virginia courtroom. However, in a contentious exchange with Ascrit, Heard's main attorney, Elaine Bredehoft, sought to establish a briefing schedule and more for her client's proposed appeal. What was the briefing Elaine wanted? Let's dive into the video to know the details. A Reddit content suggests that Judge Penney made a story saying he is the chief judge, and that's how it goes over Elaine's demanding a briefing schedule that doesn't exist. Over that story, fans have distinct reactions as they get surprised watching what the judge said. One fan stated that Elaine is only fighting because Amber and her probably thought they had the trial won. So she was like, "You can pay me when we get all of Johnny's money." Then they lose and Amber's broke as shit and can't pay her. So she has to double down with Amber, which will only dig them both deeper. Another added further that if I were in Elaine's shoes right now, I'd just call it an expense. I made a judgment call on our odds, which turned out to be incorrect. So I took the risk, got the outcome, called it an expense, and moved on to the next case. Because clearly she's not homeless or begging for money as a result of that and can 100% just move on here. She works as a lawyer. It's not like she's short on cash. I'm not sure. I'm a fairly forgiving and reasonable person who is generally uninterested in money in general. For example, I've never bothered to take jobs that pay 3 or 4 times the salary if they're not something I think will be more interesting to work on. And I've gone down in the past to just do something more interesting. I tend to give lots of money to friends, family, homeless people, etc. So maybe finances aren't as big a focus in my life as they are for some people. But she is a lawyer and a fairly accomplished one at that, don't they? And maybe Elaine and I are just too different for me to try to figure out her motivations. But it just seems like she's desperate for money here, going so far as to disrespect the entire system that she works both for and within in order to recoup some fees. One more fan added that, "I believe AH is contagious. It's as if her delusionary nature rubs off on those around her." After talking smack about her and the jurors on TV, Elaine expected to sashay into court to be all buddy-buddy with Judge Penney. Another comment came as Judge Penney is enraged by her media tour, and she should be. She told everyone who gave her a microphone that the judge was unjust and that she was playing dirty. The judge will never do her another favor, and going in today as if she hadn't said anything and acting as if they were friends is an insult. One more fan stated, "The media would spin it as if it were a biased judge, as if the one in the UK wasn't bad enough." It's funny, AH has nothing on her side in terms of acting, friends, or luck. She was initially detained by a lesbian officer who recognized DV while she was with her ex-girlfriend. She was cross-examined by the most dominant female lawyer, so she can't claim to have been bullied or dogged as a witness. A female judge has now rendered her decision. She's not going to be able to spin it any other way. There is no misogyny in this place. Another fan commented that Judge Penney, with the boss, has moved over here, which is fantastic. If I were Elaine, I would be mortified. Consider being put in your place and having a judge remind you of your and her roles in the situation. On the other hand, after everything Elaine has done in this case over time, I have a strong feeling she is incapable of feeling shame. On that, a fan replied that not to mention that Judge Ascrit gave that dumb moron such a long leash with her stupid remark in an attempt to avoid objections. I heard several attorneys say that they thought Judge A was a little too lenient on Elaine's mistakes, because if Depp had won, it would have been grounds for a mistrial. What about the backstory? Let's hear the entire thing in detail now. In the final hearing of the Johnny versus Amber defamation trial, Judge Penney Ascrit gave Amber Heard's lawyer, Elaine Bredehoft, the no-nonsense treatment. On Friday, Heard and Depp's legal teams met in Virginia Fairfax County Court to discuss the future of the party's $10.35 million settlement. Correspondent Agnette Levy, who was present at the proceedings, noted that the judge was harsh on Elaine after her defamatory comments about the jury the day before she lost to Depp. Judge A is always direct. Today, she was even more obstinate, as if she didn't care what EB said. After that, I asked EB if she would come outside because our camera was there and if she had anything to say. She politely declined. Miss Levy remarked an Instagram account later shared one of Judge Ascrit's quotes in which she dismissed Elaine once more. "I am the court's chief judge, and that's how it goes," she explained in response to Elaine's request for a brief schedule when one does not exist. Before deliberations, Elaine had previously accused the judge of being unfair and contaminated with social media chatter. She made the remarks during an appearance on the Today Today show. She began by suggesting the possibility of tampering and admitted, absolutely, jurors were not supposed to be checking social media. But how could you not be aware? Every night they went home. They have households. Their families have accounts on social media. Because of the judicial conference, we took a 10-day break in the middle, so it is impossible that they were not influenced by it. It was dreadful. What do you think about Judge Penney rejecting the briefing by Elaine Bredehoft? Let us know in the comments section below. For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel.